Welcome to part 2 of the Assumptions of Radical Forgiveness with Lorree Appleby.
So the next assumption is, so when we incarnate here as a soul into a human body, physical body, we have a mission. And we have an agreement with Spirit, with God, with whoever it is to you. It doesn't matter what we call it. It's that higher power, that great creator, whatever you call it. So we have this agreement that we would do certain things to meet a karmic debt, to complete a soul level contract. It may be, lots of people have these contracts at a soul level that they want to experience certain aspects in this human life. And what these karmic debts and soul level contracts do is they assist us in transforming these energies within this human condition, in this human body, by experiencing it fully, feeling it, and then reflecting and learning the spiritual lesson, the growth. And really, this is done in simply having the learning experiences. But if we're resisting life in general, we're not going to learn and grow very much, right? Because if we stay safe and small, we're not going to learn and grow. And that was me, my whole life. Because of, just the way I came into this world and the agreements that I personally bought into. No blaming on anyone else. This is my soul contract, was that I stayed very safe and small for the first part of my life. And I had some things happen that really kept me even more safe and small, because I was very young and naive, and I became very fearful. So I didn't allow myself to have these learning experiences because I had some really heavy duty ones, according to myself. Everyone has their own journey, and there's no, it's not a competition or anything. But I didn't allow myself to expand or, do anything risky, because I got in some trouble at an early age, and I really shut it down because it was very upsetting and scary, and I did not want to experience that again. So I did not allow myself to have a lot of learning experiences. However, whether I allowed myself or not, they still came. You can't stop it. Really, you cannot stop it from happening. Your soul is always guiding us towards these learning experiences. So whether we do it willingly and we stay open and we trust, or we do it kicking and screaming and resisting, that's our choice. Like I said earlier, it's how we lean into it is how it's going to happen for us. So continuing this, our soul is always going to move us, like I said, in the direction so that we can have these experiences and experience the pain, experience the separation that we wanted. Because once we have done that, we are going to start having these little wake-up calls so that we can remember who we truly are, which is a spiritual being that came here to experience the human condition of duality, right? Because down here it's right and wrong, good and bad, light and dark, evil and pure, however you want to say it. Everything down here is opposites. So it's the law of polarity, that we are in a duality world, and fear and love, right? So down here there's a lot of fear. However, people are starting to awaken in a bigger amount of people. So because more and more people are awakening, our consciousnesses, because we're all connected, are starting to look at things a little differently. So this is why I've been talking about this. When I learned this work, I was very afraid to talk about this because I didn't think that people were open to it. But in the last couple of years, things have really shifted. If you have known me, have noticed. And spirituality and being conscious is much more mainstream. People are talking about it. People are resonating with it because this is our truth, and we do resonate, and we are all starting to remember who we truly are. So as we're all remembering, our energies are affecting each other, and it's like this ripple effect that's happening. So, like I said, our soul is always moving us in this direction of remembrance of who we are. And it's going to creating these situations that offer us the opportunity to transform our unconscious. Those unconscious beliefs that keep us stuck in this illusion that this is all there is. So what this is really is that it's patterns. Everything is patterns. And the pattern that we had when we were a young child of some kind of painful event, experience such of separation, we will recreate that same pattern. It might not be with the same people or the same situation, but the pattern of the feelings are going to be very similar. And that is happening. So as we keep experiencing this pattern over and over again, in the hopes that we are going to keep practicing, right? Because we have all these opportunities to practice, and we're going to keep practicing. And then one day we're going to go, oh, I can look at this from a different point of view. I think I've learned this lesson. I've done this so many times. I get it now, that this isn't actually really even true, right? So that's what happens when you start to awaken, you start to remember. And then you don't feel stuck in this illusion anymore because you can see the bigger picture of the situation. So another thing that happens is that people, other souls, right, we call them people here, they come into our lives to lovingly mirror our beliefs over and over and over again until we awaken to the truth of who we are. So this happens especially with parents, siblings, spouses, if you're somebody who doesn't have contact with those people that I've just mentioned, it'll happen to you in your workplace. It's going to happen to you. So unless you hole yourself up and become a hermit, and like I said, not allow yourself to have these learning experiences, you are going to, we attract each other into each other's lives so that we can mirror these beliefs. So for me, the belief is not enough. This is a very common belief that people have. I am not enough. No matter what I do, it's never going to be enough. I don't want to show people who I truly am because they won't love me. These are all very common beliefs that so many of us have. And I've attracted many people in my life, many people in my life who have mirrored this for me. So if we look at it from this full perspective, they are our teachers, and they are doing this because they truly, as from a soul perspective, they love us. Now, maybe here on earth they might not, or maybe they do. For instance, my husband, I know he loves me, and him and I mirror for each other all the time. Now, we've worked through a lot of that and we're healing. However, there's other people in my life who we don't have a love for each other, but they're still mirroring. So maybe down here on earth, they're not lovingly mirroring for me, but as a soul they are, because we're all doing this with and for each other. It's like a dance. We're all doing this, playing playing out this game, in a sense, this role of, okay, I'm going to come down here and we're going to show each other what our beliefs are by helping us to experience this pain more deeply, to create more drama and trauma around it so we can really fully feel it. Because if we don't get it, if we don't learn our spiritual lessons when it happens in a lighter, not as a painful way, which usually it doesn't. Usually we need to have a big wake-up call, a big smack upside the head from our soul, from the spiritual world, to help us to remember, right? And then we're like, oh my gosh, now I get it. So a really common one is illness, right? Having a tragic illness like cancer or something like that, that makes you rethink everything in your life, or death, losing a loved one. It changes everything. You look at life like, oh my gosh, I want to live life to the fullest. You never know when things can change. And wouldn't it be amazing if we could know this lesson without having to have those really heavy duty experiences? However, us as humans, because we come here with this spiritual amnesia, we don't remember these agreements, which I think I forgot to mention to you, is we come down here and we forget these agreements that we made, right? Because if we didn't, we wouldn't be playing full out. We wouldn't be fully experiencing it. We'd be like, oh yeah, I know this isn't really true. This isn't like really happening. I'm just like down here like playing through this, so I'm not going to really fully lean into it. We have to have this amnesia. We have to forget so that we can fully experience it. And then we start to wake up. We start to remember. So this is why they call it an awakening. So everyone awakens at different times. Some people never awaken, and then they pass on, and then they may come back and try it again. And now we're getting to this point where we've got stuck in these karmic patterns, and there's more and more people that weren't fulfilling their missions and the karmic debt kind of thing, if you want to call it that. So now what's happened is there's many souls that are come here in the last many years, and they're coming here specifically to help humanity awaken. So you'll start to see that there's a lot of young people who are here now, and they're awake. They're not having to experience all this pain and suffering. They are coming here and they are awake, and they are sharing their message, and they are reaching out to help to create this change so that we can start to awaken and remember, because we were kind of getting stuck in this karmic pattern of over and over again doing it. So these people that come, these other souls, they are our teachers. We are their teachers. We're teachers and students for each other.
Thank you for watching. Please watch part 3 in the next video.